I know this may come as a shock to many people, but I've spent the last 5 years of my professional career outside of politics working for one of the state's largest center-based programs in early childhood education. If you had told me a long time ago that I would have spent every morning of my life with 1,000 screaming children, I would have probably have told you that you were crazy, and I did not go to college for that. However, it was the most gratifying experience that I've ever been able to witness in my life, not just because I got to see all of these great smiling faces and to see the hard work of our providers in motion, but it was also super gratifying because I got to see in real time the development of our children. From the time that they were born to the time that they were 5 years old and we gave them their backpack to head off to grade school, that was a really important milestone to see that development. And that development, which is 90% of a child's brain, should not be taken for granted, and it should not be rushed to put them in a system that we're still trying to ensure that we're funding at the right levels, that we are securing with the right resources, not only with our teachers, but with the structure needed for all towns and cities in our state. But most importantly, which I think I would be remiss in not acknowledging, is the importance of families in our state. Connecticut's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place for working mothers, and I think the same for working fathers as well. But we need to ensure that Connecticut is a place where parents will not go broke and be poor and live in poverty because they cannot find accessible childcare. You might ask me, well, childcare is very different from K-12. Yes, that's true. But I tell you this, if you have a child that is in a center-based program or a home-based program in July and you're starting to figure out how to move them and transition them from that center-based program to kindergarten, you take them out, they lose their slot, you give it up to another family in need, and then you find out that your child cannot attend kindergarten because of their age. This mandate, which I thought was incredibly thoughtful, and it's been a long time in the works, and it is a good law, it's a good policy, I supported it. This mandate, though, needs a little bit more time to catch up with the systems on the local level. Because what happens to that child is that they're turned away. They then have to look for childcare elsewhere with their parents. That childcare expense now has gone probably from an average of $13,000 a year to an additional $18,000 a year based on some of the programs that you're looking for because they're going to charge higher knowing that you're in desperate need. That's $18,000, anywhere between $13,000 to $18,000 a year that parents did not account for in their finances. That's setting them back, especially in a society where people are already spending 50% of their income on housing, 30% of their income on childcare, and nearly 20% of their income on student loans. I had to plug that one because that's important. It's impossible for anyone to get ahead. And I think that every person up here, our advocates, our elected officials, our parents, cannot sit by and let other working families in this state sit at the kitchen table for a whole nother year to figure out how they're going to make ends meet while ensuring that their children get the best and most affordable and accessible care for the future. We would be doing a great disservice to those in our state. So I say this, that we should delay this for at least a year so that it does not only hurt the children, hurt our families, exacerbate an already fragile early childhood education system, but also stress out our teachers who are already in dire straits in terms of needing more resources. And when we always put families and children first in this state, Connecticut will always remain at the top. Thank you so much.